And I kept sending my wife pictures of like food trucks, and finally she was like, either buy a food truck or shut up. And that's exactly how the conversation went down.
All right, we're back. Another great episode of Pizza King Podcast. I got a super dope guest for you today. Someone that I've been watching on Instagram for probably a good year or two now. Watch these guys make transition from a busy dope ass food truck to, and I'm sorry if I'm cussing, dope food truck to the brick and mortar. I'm excited to bring Nick on to let you guys hear his story and talk about their journey and what's going on with Bricks Woodfired Pizza Company over in North Carolina. Side note, North Carolina's got some dope pizza spots. I think we all need to make a little trip out there and see what's going on, what's happening in North Carolina. But let me bring him to the stage. Nick, welcome to Pizza King Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Tell us who you are.
My name is Nick Ward. I'm the co-owner of Bricks Woodfired Pizza. Bricks stands for Brittany and Nick's, and that's the way that we got our name. Is my wife and I. And when we started dating like 13 years ago, all of her friends were like, that was when there was like celebrity names, and they used to joke that that was our celebrity name.
Bricks. I like it though.
Yeah. So, and then when it came time to like do the pizza company, that was just the name that we landed on.
Well, it's kind of a no-brainer, right? You guys got you got the famous, you got your celebrity name, your Benifer.
Yes. Listen, because it was this or Nickety. And nobody wants that, bro.
Well, you got to leave with the wife. That's just the way it goes.
For sure.
That was a smart move. So you guys are here together doing this. When did you start Bricks Woodfired Pizza?
Our soft opening was like June 17th, 22. So we are an infant pizza company.
Infant pizza company, but you've made some major moves pretty quickly when you talk about going from starting a truck. And what made you decide to start with a truck versus going into straight into a restaurant?
It just seemed cheaper. It's not, but it seemed cheaper, and it seemed like the better option. And I'm a retired Air Force fighter jet mechanic, so
thank you for your service.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's worth it. So, but I retired from the Air Force, went to work in civilian aviation, got my airframe and power plant license, and then was managing another fleet of private jets in Kinston, North Carolina, and was like, dude, it's the same. Like I went from the Air Force to like the Air Force in civilian clothes. You know what I mean? Like it's the same. Yeah. I don't want to do this. And I went to work back on base in a fighter squadron as like a civilian contractor doing like scheduling fighter pilots and then working in a vault. And I kept sending my wife pictures of like food trucks. And finally she was like, either buy a food truck or shut up. And that's exactly how the conversation went down. So that was it. Like we looked and then found the trailer that we wanted and went back to it several times and figured out how to make it work. And then went through like the build out process, which was awful. And then went through, like we had a Forno Bravo oven built, like a kit. We bought like a backyard pizza oven kit, and then put it in the food truck. And the guy that outfitted it had no business building a pizza oven. So basically,
was it first time trying to do something like that?
Yeah, like the guy, he did okay, like the rest of the food truck, but he put our pizza oven on. So our pizza trailer is 24 feet long. It's got 12 feet of enclosed like kitchen and then 12 feet of back porch area. And he put it behind the axle, like 3 feet behind the axle on the very back of the trailer.
Oh, so
and this thing is like 2,000 pounds, dude. And like,
man,
it would go down the road. And because it was so far behind the axle, like the frame would springboard that oven. It wasn't attached to the truck. It wasn't attached to the table that it sat on. The steel table that it was sat on was attached to the floor with like self-tapping screws that immediately came out.
Just pop right out.
Bro, that oven lasted 3 weeks and it just crumbled around itself. So
that's an expensive lesson to learn.
It's fine. It's fine. It is what it is what it is. So I followed Peddling Pizzas on Instagram, It's a dude in England that had uses domes. So I asked him, I was like, hey, like, how do you like those? And he's like, they work great. He was super nice. He's got a big ass following, and took the time to respond, and I really appreciate that. And like, so I bought two domes, took the trailer back to the guy that outfitted it, and said, put these in this. I'll be back in a week. And and then that was it. And like, I couldn't be happier with the decision that we made to use Gozney domes.
So you guys are running the Gozney domes, and 2 keeps up with the volume just fine for you?
Bro, we can make 60 pizzas an hour with a full staff.
What?
Yeah. I mean, that's why Neapolitan. So coming from the flight line and working jets, like everything in my life for 20 years was about how efficiently and how quickly can we turn things. Because for those that don't know how fighter jets work, at least in the Air Force, it's like we have like 2 go days. And like, so we'll send 10 jets up in the morning, and I worked F-15s, F-16s, A-10s, and U-2s, and they all work the same except for the U-2. But so we'll send like 10 jets up in the morning, and then they'll go for an hour and a half sortie and like get training, and then they'll land, and then we have what's called the turn, and you have 3 hours. And really it's 2 hours, because an hour before so from the moment they land, they got to take off 3 hours later. So you have 2 hours to turn 10 jets, and we'll send 8 up for the second go. And that's gas them, inspect them, fix whatever you can, find, like, put screws back in, because they're pulling G's, you know what I mean? Especially like F-16s and Strike Eagles, they're pulling like 8-9 G's. So screws work their way out, vibration, all that stuff. And then an hour before they're supposed to take off, the air crew steps back out, pilots show back up to the jet, they do their walk around, they start the jet, they do pre-flight stuff, and they bounce, and they're trying to take off at the 3 hour mark. Anyway, and then we'll send 8 up and then fix them. Right after that, that's the day. And that efficiency is what we wanted to bring from my life as a fighter jet mechanic to this. And that's the way that we do it. Like,
got it.
No wasted steps. Like, don't go out to don't walk 200 yards out to a jet and be like, oh, I forgot a wrench, and walk back inside, and be like, get back out there. Don't do that. Don't waste any steps. So efficiency is everything to me.
So that experience probably helped you. I mean, when it came to designing your kitchen and how you just manage the restaurant in general, that's a great experience to have, because a lot of folks have to learn that after the fact, after you've done it wrong for a few years.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, this is not harder than that. This is really hard. You know what I mean? But this is like, after 20 years of the soul crushing pressure of being on a fighter fly, because there in that turn time, in that 2 hours, there's one guy that's really responsible for getting everything done. And that is the most fun. If I had one job to do forever, it would be that, because you just get to be a psycho. Like, you drive around in a little white truck and scream at people and tell them to work faster. And you're on the radio and you're coordinating, like, all these different agencies, and trying to bring everybody together to just get jets got to go. And that there's nothing more important than jets. I mean, safety is important, but like, jets got to go.
Jets got to go.
That's it, bro. You know what I mean?
You probably can't be that guy in a restaurant, though. People leave.
It's so much nicer to not have to be. But like, there's like, that dude still lives deep inside. You know what I mean? And there's every once in a while, and as a retiree now, I just get to bitch about the current state of the Air Force, and people are walking around with their hands in their pockets and whatever. And, but that dude still lives inside of me. I just keep him for special occasions. Well,
I mean, it's probably good to push yourself with that guy, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's like, that dude drives me. He doesn't drive anybody else. It's the get up in the morning, don't be a lazy piece of shit, and like, get going. That's what gets me.
So was it always pizza when you were, getting ready, or you had retired and you're sending your wife all of these food trucks? Was pizza what you were going to do?
Oh, it was always pizza. And we fell in love with Neapolitan pizza in northern Japan, which is the weirdest thing. Like,
hold on. So northern Japan that's the scene for Neapolitan style pizza?
There's a lot of Neapolitan pizza in Japan, but I was stationed at Misawa Air Base in northern Japan, and like, where we lived in Japan, it snowed like 100 inches a year. So it's one of the snowiest places in the world. If you ever get to go skiing there, it's the best snow ever. And we, right outside the gate at Misawa Air Base, there was this Japanese dude that studied in Naples and like was AVP certified, and like brought it back, had a beautiful oven. You know what I mean? He was constantly stoking with logs, and I really didn't know anything about Neapolitan pizza before that. I had it, but we kind of fell in love with it. And my wife bought me a Baker Stone backyard oven and a book one year, and then we just started messing with it. You know what I mean? And that's where it
Yeah.
all started.
So you fell in love with pizza first. I think that's a great way to do it because the business will take you out if you let it.
Bro, it's tough. Like, and then when we opened our food truck, I have friends that own a brewery a block away, and we used to turn wrenches together. And they said, you know, it was always our plan to open the food truck and then look for a brick and mortar. Mm-hmm. And he goes, make as many mistakes as you can in the food truck.
Right.
And that's what we do. And we blew it time and time and time again. Like, we ruined our life, rebuilt our life, ruined our life, you know, and just made a lot of mistakes, but which I'm fine with. Like, I don't care about making mistakes. I care about making them twice.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
you learn, you grow, and you really get to figure out if this is what you really want to do.
That's it. And
you know what I mean? Without what you think without a huge investment, you know, but that's not always true.
It's not true. You know, it's crazy. And I think that I'm also appreciative of guys like you that tell your story. And like, I listen to a lot of podcasts and to try to learn from other people that like have made mistakes so that we don't have to, you know what I mean? Because I think that is the point of all of this, is to just share our experiences as a community and like make everybody else better.
That's the goal. You know, there's no competition in this. There's so many people and everyone loves pizza. It's not, you know, if we can take our time and say, look, don't do what I did. That's huge. What was the biggest lesson that you learned, or the biggest mistake you made in those early days?
Being prepared.
Yeah.
So like my friends own a brewery, invited us out for their anniversary, and it was like their 5-year anniversary. Excuse me. And we brought 40 pizzas. I brought 40 dough balls because that was like our standard load.
Yeah.
And we sold out in 25 minutes and had to call another food truck, and I was humiliated. And like, you ever had that happen where like for like a week you just don't sleep? You know what I mean? And you're just so mad at yourself that like you live in that moment. And
well, it's all the things you could have and should have done, right?
Yeah. So like that was the biggest lesson was, and I hate not being prepared. That's like when I got out of the Air Force, I did a psych eval for the VA, and with a Zoom call, the psychologist, and she goes, "What's your number one fear?" And I said, "Not being prepared." And she was like, "Cool, man, you have generalized anxiety. Here you go." But that's it, because also like I've been on the flight line and not been prepared, and you just like, it is embarrassing when you fall on your face in front of everybody, you know, and there's no way to hide it, and you just either embrace it or you move on, you know, learn the lesson and move on. And that's what we did.
Yeah. And what people don't know, and anyone that's not a pizzeria operator, there's no recovery time. You can't recover once it's over. I mean, dough is a multiple day process.
Yeah.
You know, prep happens. We prep today for tomorrow and the next day. It's not just something that you can just, hey, let's just make some pizzas real quick. It just doesn't work like that.
No, it doesn't work that way. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. And like, we made dough yesterday for Wednesday, you know, like you should realistically, if you walk into a place and they're like, yeah, this dough's fresh, we made it this morning, you should probably turn around and walk away. You don't want to eat that.
Our dough is best at day 2 and day 3.
Yeah.
We like day 3 dough.
Yeah, I do too. It flops better because we do it all by hand. Like when we opened this place in June, I was like, I'm a YouTube pizza chef. You know what I mean? Like everything I know came from YouTube, but like the Air Force is also really good at making you realize that you need training. So I went to the school that Mara Forney puts on, Pizza University.
Yeah.
And it was like a 3-day class in Beltsville, Maryland. And I learned so much.
I follow his content on YouTube and on Facebook too. And he's always teaching.
He's always teaching.
It's always teaching. And it's so good for any pizza operator out there. There's something to learn from Pizza University for sure.
Yeah, it was great. And I do it the same way. We do the same recipe that they taught us. I flop dough the same way. I teach my staff to flop dough the same way. Like we do everything exactly as they did. Our recipes didn't change. Our sauce didn't change. Like we're a neo-Neapolitan restaurant. You know what I mean? I don't make a traditional sauce. Our sauce isn't just tomatoes and salt. We use olive oil and basil. You know what I mean? Yeah. And we blend it and whatever, but like it's our own. But
do you get the pizza purists that are questioning your style? Like, hey, this isn't really Neapolitan style pizza. Do you get that? Because I know that's a thing. Seriously, when it comes to Neapolitan style,
it really is. And there's a dude. When you come here, there's also a guy that owns Luna Pizza, and he is he's like a local legend around here, but he did the same thing, like studied in Naples, all that stuff. And he, for the longest time, he's been in business for like 10 years and just put pepperoni on the menu.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and
there's no pineapple in his place.
No, right? And our pineapple pizza. So when we said, okay, we're going to do this, I was working in a fighter squadron and they were deployed. The guys they were doing a tour of, they did 6 months in Europe, and it was just right before Ukraine kicked off. Anyway, so the dudes that were left, I would just like bring 20 dough balls, and I took my oven to work. And fighter pilots are really, really tough to deal with for the most part, as I'm sure you can imagine. However, they're excellent at giving feedback. So I would make them 20 pizzas and go, what do you guys think? And they would give me honest, legitimate, we would debrief every time I made pizza for them. And I learned a ton. One guy was like, hey man, you got to have a pineapple pizza. And I was like, no, absolutely not. I'm not doing it. And he's like, dude, I'm telling you that you have to. So I made him a prosciutto and pineapple pizza. And he was like, this is amazing. I was like, all right, look, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to talk shit. So our Hawaiian pizza is called the prosciutto bestemia, which in Italian translates to ham and blasphemy.
Ham and blasphemy. That's dope.
And we get Italian dudes, like people that speak Italian, come in once in a while and they'll just start laughing. And but nobody gets it. Like, I live in the South, you know what I mean? And the people that I tell them,
that's funny.
Some of them laugh hysterically and some of them look at me like I'm an idiot, but which is also true.
Well, I mean, it's not to offend anybody, but it's good to have a little fun. And
for sure.
You know, pizza's the best your way item to have. Like you get it the way you want it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes what we do so cool.
Yeah. And we'll make it how you want it. And we define ourselves as a customer service company that makes pizza. First and foremost, like, we are a customer service company. Everything else is secondary.
I love that. I saw that on your Instagram page. That's kind of like your headline, your tag, like we're a customer service company that also makes pizza.
Yeah.
Explain how that mentality has driven you to where you are now, because, I think you're really modest and nice about it, but in a very short time, you went from, hey, I'm making 20 pies and testing it out with the guys on the flight line, to food truck, to brick and mortar, way faster than anyone should really do that, right?
So I knew, as a food truck, I get one chance at your business. Mm-hmm. And that's real. In a restaurant, in a brick and mortar place, if you have a bad experience, you might come back like 3 months, 6 months later, be like, let's go try them again. As a food truck, dude, you come to my window and you have a bad experience, you're gone forever.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And I'm here to get my 3 times. I need to get 3 times, right? I need to see you 3 times in a row so that it becomes a habit and you become a real customer. So I need to see you 3 times. And I'm not willing to lose it for any reason. So our policy is the second that you see somebody at the window, you must at least speak to them, because we've all been to like restaurants or food trucks where like you show up and nobody speaks to you, and it is the worst feeling. Like, you feel unimportant. You know what I mean? Like, I work hard for this money. Yeah. And I know that people work really hard for the money that they give us. And I'm a blue collar guy. Like, we love dirty boots around here. And I know how hard it is to make money and to give it to somebody else. I want you to feel like you're appreciated and that you feel valued.
So, I read somewhere that the number one driver of dissatisfaction in customers is indifference. It's not the food, it's not the value, it's feeling like my time and my money doesn't matter to you.
That's it. I couldn't agree more. And it does, like, because we judge places. Look, people will go eat lousy pizza with great customer service, but they will not eat amazing pizza if there is no customer service.
Nope.
So
I know I won't spend my money somewhere where it doesn't matter. Nope. So I love that. And I'm sure that carries over to your team. How many people on your team?
We have 4. We kind of overhired. So, like, when you open your place, I was so busy trying to learn how to operate my business that we're finally at a point now where I can run my business. Because I had no idea what I was doing. We were just trying to have a thing. And
so you do everything.
So you do everything, right? So when we opened this place, we kind of overhired, and then I was like, all right, expenses are getting out of control. Like, and we're fortunate that, you know, the profit margins are so high in pizza that, like, we've never lost money. We've never had a month that we were in the red. You know what I mean? Like, I've never had to take money out of my own account to, like, put into the businesses to keep it going, and fortunate in that regard. But we got rid of, like, we hired a lot, and then we kind of trimmed everybody down to keep, because payroll is outrageous, man. You know, especially with what you got to pay now. Like, it's, dude,
it's a killer, and it's on the rise. And if you don't really find a good way to manage that and develop and keep your people around, I mean, long-term people are just going to be the value because they can do the job better. But when you pay, I can't stand it. You're paying the new guy with no experience more than what I could pay the guy who's been there with me for 4 or 5 years. That's crazy to me.
It's awful. So, and we started, like, my lowest paid employee is $11.
Yeah.
And, like, think about 1997 us, like, what you would have done for $11 an hour.
Yeah, I mean, my first job, I made $4.15 an hour.
$4.25 at Pizza Hut in, like, 95.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
$4.15, and I remember minimum wage went up to $4.25, and that was my first raise from $4.15 to $4.25.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it is also, it's crazy.
I paid $9.44 for a double cheeseburger meal the other day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you guys deliver?
No. So that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you. Is we are trying to figure it out. I'm terrified of third-party apps because of the people, like, that represent my food, but we don't have the manning to do a delivery. We're going to work it out, because I think that is what's hurting us a lot right now, is that we don't offer delivery, and we're in a small downtown, and in a small town, there's only like 17,000 people in this town. We're the only Neapolitan pizza in the county. But I mean, what is your opinion on third-party ordering?
I would never sit here and call myself an advocate for any third-party platform, because first the platform is the one that's winning. They get all. They do nothing and get the most. I understand that the way that it works with people who have to deliver and they work for these companies, it's gig work, it's flexible, but I do have a problem with it, because you have once that food leaves your place, you no longer have any control over that. It can disappear. Who knows what's in that car? I've had to refuse deliveries with folks because I just couldn't get over the appearance of somebody that came in, and maybe that's wrong. But so. If you don't look like someone who should drop off my food, I'm not gonna let it go out. But then the customer suffers, right? So it's this tough situation. We've been transitioning somewhat to delivery as a service just to offset some of the staffing challenges, where first party orders come through us and we dispatch a DoorDash driver. That's been working for us. It comes at a fee, and it's like $7 every time we have to do it. But that's been better than just straight up taking orders on a third-party platform, because they're going to take 30% commission. They're going to charge the customer all of these fees. They charge us the marketing to reach that person. And even with the commission at 20%, which we had, we negotiated for 20% commission, we ran the numbers. We were still over 40% in fees to the platform. So it's just, I know that they're necessary. They're a necessary part of the business now because so many people are there. But I look at third party orders as a marketing tool and a way to attract a customer and introduce them to you. But you got to find a way to try to pull them off platform and get your own. If you can't deliver first party, I would first try delivery as a service before I just went straight up to Uber or DoorDash and just join their platform, because you're basically just going to send your food out for free.
That's what we keep coming back to, because like 3 or 4 times I've been like, all right, I'm just going to commit. I'm going to do this. We're going to try it. And then at the last minute, I just get the willies. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
It devalues the product, especially when you're working so hard. You got a good product. You got a lot of pride in what you do. to attract an order on these platforms, people, it's like it's the Wild Wild West. So it's BOGO deals. It's $10 off of 30. You know, it's all of that, and that's how people shop there, which is fine. I understand the consumer side of it, but it comes at a cost to the merchant or to the restaurant. So I can't tell you not to do it, because if it helps. Sorry, my dog's going crazy. He cannot stand long guys at all.
I've heard that repeatedly in your podcast.
He's all. I'm telling you, he waits until I hit record, and then he just starts going. But he lives here. I can't do anything about it.
I ain't bothered by it.
But it I don't know. It attracts the customer for you, but it's a really tough way to make money and grow. I haven't seen year over year growth, and I've been on these platforms since probably 2018, 2019, and you really don't see year over year growth on a third party platform, which means you're constantly putting dollars out in marketing to attract the next customer, the next customer, the next customer. I don't see that as a sustainable model for the restaurant.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself on a podcast. That may have been the Smart Pizza Marketing podcast that I heard you on, but if you're going to do a deal, the deal's got to make sense. It can't just be a deal. You can't just do a pizza deal for the sake of having a pipizza deal, right?
No.
Like, if you're going to give a discount, there's got to be value in it for both parties. And
So, and if it's for me to get, you know, if I can get an email address out of it, if I can get a cell phone number and I can continue to market to that person, then that's something. But third party platform, they own all the information. You get none of that data. You get data, but you don't get control over that. So you don't have the opportunity to really market to that customer after that first time you see them. And that's tough. So, you know, we still use it. We still have them, but we're like, you know, we flyer the boxes, we put stickers on them. We try to drive them back to our platform so that we can then, but it also took us having to make sure we stepped up our game on our side, because if I tell you come over here, it's better, and it's not better, then I've lost you.
Yeah.
So I would continue to weigh it out. Order some delivery. See and I don't know who has the market share in your town. First, when we started, Uber was like in control here, but DoorDash has quickly gained market share here in Tampa, and we're starting to have some conversations with them. But you know, the ones that have more control over their people and over their platforms, they've tried to implement things like, you know, making sure their drivers are taking pictures of orders before they leave out, so that they can confirm that they're there. They have their own delivery bag, so it looks a little bit more presentable, but the customers know. And if a customer, here's what I learned too: if a customer is on, like if they're already like a DoorDash customer or they're already a DoorDash user, once I dispatch that driver, it shows up on their app. So now it's, you know, it kind of devalues my products when they say, oh, and I have customers tell me, don't send the DoorDash driver to me, please. Send me one of your guys. And we can't always do that. So that becomes a problem, another problem.
Well, I had a conversation last week with my insurance agent and said, hey man, I've got this old, like I have a Super Duty that we pull the trailer with. But that thing is just insanely expensive to operate. So I bought like a 04 Subaru Outback that like the back seats are down and I use it as a pickup, right? It's like, if I have to go pick up food or whatever I do, like that's my personal daily driver. And that's what I run around in. So I was like, hey, like I've got this car. If we put it in the business's name and insure it, give it commercial insurance, like can my staff use it to deliver pizza? And he was like, yes, that's, you know, but like, honestly, most people just have they just deliver in their own cars. Yeah. But like, and ultimately all this is moot because I'm the gap filler. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm the owner. It's going to be me. So like when we start delivering pizzas, it's going to be me. And I'm certainly not going to send, you know, like we have a lot of girls that work for us. I'm not going to send one of them out to like somewhere that I'm not comfortable sending them at night. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah. And there's so many things to consider. Do you start to take cash at that point, or do you know, how does that all work? And I know you guys are using Toast, right? So there's some delivery capabilities there. You can, you know, you can charge a credit card at the door, things like that. but there's all these different elements of it that you need to consider before you do it. And I would, just really work through that process and ask yourself all of the questions like, what's our radius going to look like? Is there going to be a delivery minimum? Are we going to charge a fee? How are we setting these expectations? A lot of folks will, that becomes your brand. And we tell our drivers all the time, most of our customers have no idea who I am or who, my partner JR, or they've never even been to our restaurant. They only know you. So right. You become us at that point. You have to make sure that you're presentable and you're nice and you're on time and your bag is clean and all these different things. It's just, there's a lot of factors into it.
You take off your face and put on my face.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the customer service, we are a customer service company that makes pizza, and I don't want that to stop at delivery. You know what I mean? Like, so again, it's one of those things that we're trying to work through. And like, when I find what is right, because how it either feels right or it doesn't.
Yeah.
So like right now, it still doesn't feel exactly right. And I'm a great pontificator. You know what I mean? It's the 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll wake up and just run through it. I'll run through every scenario possible at 3 o'clock in the morning while I'm just trying to go back to bed. But
that's the way the brain goes.
Dude, that's the way I solve problems is in the middle of the night, like trying not to wake my wife up.
Yeah. So go through that process, because that'll help you determine when and if it's right for you to do it. Because although I believe in delivery, and I think delivery is here to, obviously it's here to stay, but it's an important part of the pizza business. It's, we were pre-COVID, we everyone delivered, and COVID happened, and it was great for pizza because we were already ready for it. But it has taken some of the personal element out of it. It's not so customer focused anymore. It's not so friendly. It's contactless. It's drop and go. It has become very, very transactional. So I would just caution you just to think through all of those things before you make that move as a customer service company.
Yeah, and I appreciate that advice. That's one of the reasons I was excited to talk to you. Because this is our store. Look, our place is this big. This is everything. We're 585 square feet, dude. There's nowhere to hide. You know what I mean? Like, there's nowhere to hide. So again, I just want to make sure that it's the right thing for the customer, to make sure that they come back and they believe in us.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's probably going to be me delivering pizzas for a while. But also, like, I mean, you got 3 boys, dude. I'm trying not to orphan my kid.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. So it's just take your time, and I know that you'll do the right thing. And your customers will let you know what they need and how they want it. And you may just find that right person that says, "Hey, look, I can do this. I got experience." Maybe, and I believe in that. I think the universe just sends us the things that we need when it's time and when it's right. Someone totally may just walk in the door and say, "Hey, look, I've been looking for this. I've been delivering. I love what you guys do." So, I hope that it happens that way.
We had a dude that worked for like a big franchise pizza that like stopped down here. He's not from here. He and his girlfriend were just boondoggling one day, and like he ate my pizza and he walked out and he came back. He's like, "I've been in the pizza business for 10 years. We had a nice chat. I was making dough. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday." He came back and he was like, "This is amazing." He's like, "If you guys ever want to hire," he was like the general manager for this place. And I was like, "Sure, man." Took his number down, and then like we started talking, and I was like, I just can't afford. He wanted like $50,000 a year, and I'm like, dude, if I pay somebody $50,000
I'm not even getting that.
I'm getting zero. You know what I mean? Like, the only reason I'm able to do this is because I have a retirement. You know what I mean? Like, so no matter what happens, my mortgage is paid because of my Air Force retirement. But I was like, dude, if I pay you $50,000, there's not going to be a pizzeria for you to go to. You know what I mean? And then I was listening to your podcast last weekend, 2 weeks ago, whatever. And you said, make sure that you don't like hire somebody that you're not ready for. And I was like, because I didn't end up hiring, and I was like, all right, cool. Now I feel like that was
it could slow you down. It slows you down. And once you start to run in the red, it's really hard to get out of that.
Yeah.
And you commit to people, and look, we sell pizza, but we're all humans, and we're all here for each other. So you want to take care of your people especially once you got them on the team.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do that to your own detriment. And I'm a testament of that. I have not always been successful. I've killed a business trying to be everything for everyone. So I always approach that with caution.
Well, guys like that are the easy button, and it's because he would have been the easy button. Hey man, come on in. You know what I mean? And then I can just go make hats or whatever. But but it also he would have, we probably would have sunk. So
yeah. So it's important, and that's why. And I love what you do. You take care of the customer first. That's where our business is. We're here for the guest. The guests, and I always tell my people all the time. It's not. I'm not the one paying you. It's not me. It's those customers. It's these orders. These experiences that we're delivering. That's what takes care of us. It's not me. So
yeah,
when you have that, that's what keeps you going.
And we're fortunate that my entire staff is on board with my philosophies, you know what I mean? And simple things, like we have a little counter, man, you know what I mean? Like, and if you order and you sit it, we have 2 little bar tables, and instead of handing a pizza over the counter, like my staff walks it around the counter.
Yeah.
Like just dumb stuff like that. And like, I don't know, like I know how it feels. Like when I make a pizza, I want to think about eating that pizza and like, what is the bite that I'm going to get? Am I going to get exactly what I want in every bite? Okay, that's how I want to make a pizza. And then how am I going to do I want to feel while I'm in the place? And that's, we just try to replicate that. Also be a good human. And like, if you see an old lady with a shopping cart, take the card from her and put it away. Stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Just be a good dude.
It's more important to be nice than it is to be right.
Straight up. That was my grandmother. She always taught me that. It doesn't cost anything to be nice. Like, do that first, and then the good things will happen to you. So I love that, and I live by that myself.
Yeah.
What's your favorite pizza? What are you making for you when it's time?
Like the brick is our signature pizza, and we cut so for the brick is pepperoni, salami, and prosciutto. We cut our pepperoni and our salami into sticks, which is something that we straight up stole from that place in Japan. And we're there's not a lot of places that do that. I think that's an old school way to serve.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like a brick with jalapenos, a little bit of onions, and then, sometimes I'll throw a little ranch on there, but like, it's just a good Italian pizza. You know what I mean? And we tried to turn it into sandwiches. We also tried sandwiches too, which I'm about to bring back, but, I don't know. That's my favorite pizza. Also, I don't want to eat pizza anymore. I don't want to eat my pizza anymore. I don't know how you feel, but like, I'm down to eat other people's pizza, but
I'm both. I eat my pizza when I'm making something that I see. So I'll see something, and I'm always like on Instagram. You guys see me all the time. I'm always scrolling. I'm always on there, and I'll see something, and I'm in the shop. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're gonna try to make it, and that's usually how I eat pizza. But we also go out. Like if we visit a place where I'll go, I still travel quite a bit. So I try to go try pizzerias whatever town that I end up in. That's kind of what makes my life cool, is to just go try pizza in different places. I used to be like this hot dog guy. We would go like baseball stadiums and go, eat nachos and hot dogs everywhere. But then it kind of morphed into pizza now.
Gas station hot dogs are my secret shame.
I'm with it. I'll still eat a hot dog or a chili dog just about everywhere I go. But
I love it. Sweaty off the roller.
Yeah, if I'm rolling with the fam or rolling with some other folks, it's pizza, because we can customize it. And look, I haven't had a bad pizza yet.
For sure.
I haven't had a bad one yet. It's just I love the way and everyone's different. So that's what makes it cool for me. And I'll go back and we'll try it. I love that part of it too. It's just because I'm kind of like this artist at heart, a little bit messy, a little bit, that's just how I live. So I like to go back and try to recreate it. And that's a lot of fun for me.
Well, we just did a sausage dog with pizza dough that like I'm thinking about putting on the menu. You know what I mean? Have you seen that, where like you take an Italian sausage and then just like cut a strip of pizza dough, and then it like you slide it into the oven and the dough rises and cooks up around the sausage.
It? Hold up.
Bro, I'll send you a picture. It is so good. And we mess with it. I have friends in our little downtown. So like, I'll just invite people over for lunch when we're closed and be like, come taste test this. And it's amazing. I'm trying to figure out our next step is to sell. I think we're going to sell our food truck because it's so much, you know what I mean? And the costs are so much higher than this place. I focused for 2 years on making a pretty good pizza quickly and efficiently. And I'm ready to start making the best pizza in North Carolina. You know what I mean? Like to still do it efficiently, but like, it's just the food truck is profitable, but it's a lot. You know what I mean?
Are you the one that's pretty much handling things when it comes to the truck? I know we talked, we were texting the other day and you were headed out for a catering and an event. So that takes a lot. It takes a lot to do, right?
None of the girls that work for me are pulling a 28-foot trailer with a 3/4 ton truck. You know what I mean? So every time the food truck works, and that was the big push to get this place open, is that when the food truck works, I got to work, which I want to. I love being in the food truck. We did do you guys eat Mount Olive pickles? Do you have those down there in Florida? You ever heard of Mount Olive pickles? It's 20 minutes from here. Mount Olive is 20 minutes from here. And every year they have a pickle festival. And it's like 50,000 people come to this. And Mount Olive is like 10,000 people. It's an itty bitty town.
So it's flooded with folks.
It's flooded. So we got invited and we went down and broke every sales record that we had Saturday and sold. We made like 255 pizzas, and we sold. I give away a lot of pizza, especially when we see cops walking around. But like we probably sold, 240 pizzas. Probably gave away 15. But like, and it was the craziest day that we've ever had. We made a pickle pizza. We sold like 100 pickle pizzas, and got support from Mount Olive Pickles. And then Thursday, Wayne County is doing Foodie Week, where like the Chamber of Commerce is going around to different restaurants, and like the whole crew is going to try these different local places. So we're going to go back to R&R Brewing in Mount Olive and then make those pickle pizzas again. And Mount Olive Pickles is sponsoring them, so they're going to come out, and like it should be a cool deal for us. But
that also means that you're committed to that that entire day. Yeah,
we were not open. We were not open here. I don't have the staff. You know what I mean? Like when we do big events like that, it takes at least 4 people to just keep up. And it's me in the front flopping dough and making pizza. It's a person cooking pizza, and then a person taking orders, and then there's a person like in the middle, and that person is the boss. I'm not the boss that day. They are managing boxes and managing orders and making sure that the right things happen at the right times.
Right.
And I also don't want to do that job. I can, but like I'm my favorite part of this whole thing is making pizza. But anyway,
that's me.
Yeah, I just want to be I want to be flopping dough, and we do the knead, pop, and slap on every pizza. There's no press, there's no nothing.
I haven't seen a press that can really do what you do to do that style of pizza.
Piero Forni just made a machine that
the Opera Prima.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's $30,000.
I haven't seen it in action. I've seen video, and I saw Bruce was at a place and showed that they had one, but I haven't actually seen one live yet.
Was it? I mean,
they had it at Expo, and they had it at the Orlando Summit. But when I went, I was there in Orlando, and I was actually sick, super sick. But I had to speak that day, so I'm like, I showed up, did my thing, and I like got the hell out of there because I didn't want to. It was just like I felt awful, but thank goodness it was only like an hour from where I live, so I could just get out of there. I'm like all NyQuil and Mucinex stuff, just so I could go, have that talk for a couple of minutes. But I didn't get a chance to really experience the show, so I'm excited for this year.
When is it?
It is in November. November, yeah.
I think we're going to try to go.
First or second week in November. It was big. It was a cool show, and they kind of paired it with the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Show, so there was. There's more than pizza there, so it actually made it a really good show.
I think we're gonna try to go because we want to go to Disney too. My 8-year-old has never been to Disney.
How many kids?
I have 1 kid. Look, we tried to have another kid, but in the 3 years that I was in Japan, I was gone for a year of it, just out on like 2-week trips, 3-week trips, 11 weeks in Alaska. You know what I mean? Like we would go to Korea. The pace, the operational tempo of fighter jets especially in the North Pacific right now is outrageous. So like you got to be home, man. You know what I mean? It takes 2 people to make another kid.
For sure.
And now I'm 45. My daughter is 8. So and this whole thing is based on, like, when she's 18, I'm 55, and in 10 years, it is what it is. And wherever we are, either we'll find somebody to manage this, but like, hey kid, I'm a helicopter dad. Wherever you go to college, I'm coming
That's where
too. You know what I mean?
yeah, I
That's
love that.
it. So
Does she like being around the shop?
she tolerates it. She's good in the food truck. Like, she wants to help, but she's 8. You know what I mean? So like, legally, she can't do anything. But she does what she can. She's getting there.
Yeah, my oldest, and he's growing up. All of my kids have just grown up in and around the shop. But my oldest is like, in his mind, he's the manager. He's like, if he calls me and I'm there, he's like, who's all working tonight? Who's there? FaceTime me, show me who's on the counter, who's answering the phones, who are the drivers tonight. It's like, and they walk in and they're all in the cooler. Always got a bunch of ice cream in the freezer, so they're just like walking around the shop and just taking over. I love that part of it.
It's a good lesson though, right? Like, we also did this to teach her, like, this is what hard work does.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and speaking of ice cream, we're thinking about adding gelato to this place, because there's no gelato in this town either. Like, have you found that it's difficult to, like, do you sell all your ice cream, or you just have it?
We just have it. Have it. We tried to sell, and we couldn't compete with grocery store pricing for what we were getting the ice cream for. And we're direct from the distributor, but we couldn't compete with the Walmart or the Publix pricing. So it almost felt wrong to charge someone $10 for a pint of ice cream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, $10-12 to deliver a pint. And I know there's a novelty in it to say, hey, look, we deliver ice cream. We can order your pizza with an ice cream. But we tried it for a little while, and we ran it in a couple of locations, and it just wasn't. Our staff eats more of it than we were selling.
I understand that, dude. I'm hoping that, like, we can, because not having seats is hurting us more than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Being a takeout only spot. So that's a lesson also that is hard, that we're trying to just work through. And the hope is that in the next year, we can move into a place that has seats or something. You know what I mean? Because the deal with this place is it doesn't have to stay a pizzeria. Like, we signed a lease, but it doesn't have to stay a pizzeria. So they don't care. As long as we're in here and we're paying the rent, they don't care what we do. Yeah. So, and we take the hood with us.
Oh, it could be another concept or a commissary, or whatever you want. It could be your dough kitchen. It
could be gelato. My wife wants to do like a gelato and olive oil boutique and balsamics and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, sure, rent is nothing. So
they say if you can stay profitable, then that's fine. I worked in, my mentor Bob, who founded West Shore Pizza. He tried to do we did like an Italian ice concept, kind of based around Rita's, what they do, almost a exact copy of it. And the ticket average was so low that we found ourselves having to like over market to drive the traffic to really get the volume up, because I mean we're used to $25-$30 tickets, and you go from quickly down to a $3 to $5 ticket average.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone understands how much cost is really in the dairy space when you talk about milk and cream and all these things. It's very highly perishable, short shelf life, and actually really expensive. I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just talking about my experience. But it was cool to do and very fun.
That's the thing.
We didn't make any money.
And that's why I wanted to talk to people. You know what I mean? Because the one of the things that I struggle with being in this small town is that, like, I don't have any peers. You know what I mean? Like, there's not. Yeah. There's a couple of. Everybody here is either in the military or from New York. So New York style pizza is the predominant, and I'm sure that Florida is no different, right? Like, New York style pizza is the predominant style of pizza around here. And a lot of people that walk in my door have never had a Neapolitan pizza or a neo-Neapolitan pizza. But
so you're educating.
So I'm educating, but, like, again, nobody talks. And I'm a talker. You know, like, I believe that, like, together we all make more money, and that's the way that we ran our food truck is, look, man, like, treat it like a food hall. And we just need to open a food hall, because I feel like this would work perfectly. This concept in a food hall would be perfect. But
Just, I like that. So you're thinking about, I was going to ask you what's next for Bricks. It sounds like you're kind of thinking, of expansion because of just kind of the customer need, right? People want to hang out. They want to bring
yes,
4 or 5 folks and, sit down and have a couple of pies.
and
And
I have friends that like I said, own a brewery, and they own a tap room, and they have like 3. You know how these downtowns have like small, skinny spaces. They have
yeah,
like 3 of these, and they offered one of them to us with like a door in between, so that people that were drinking beer because they are losing money when people go out to dinner, and we are losing money because people aren't here. So it's mutually beneficial, but upfit costs are out of control.
yeah.
So right now, dude, to spend another like $55,000, like it's the line where the debt ratio is not sustainable for my family.
I understand.
You know what I mean? So we're trying to work through that, and hopefully after we sell the food truck, we'll maybe try that. But
Yeah.
but like straight up,
Does selling the food truck affect your catering potential?
we will stop catering. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because for the most part, and it's catering is super profitable. Also because we don't do by the pizza. We cater by the person, and the way that we
Okay.
do catering math is 4 slices per pizza on a 10 to 11-inch pizza. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So we go set up a pizza buffet, and then we have a warmer on the truck, and we'll pre-make like 20 pizzas, and then go put like 8 or 10 of them out, and then we have at least 10 pizzas to like start backfilling while we continue to cook at full speed, and then we're just refilling pizza, right? And we're just rapid firing pizza, and people are just coming around. They'll get 1 lap, they'll go eat, they'll make a second lap, and they'll go sit down. And after that, like, it slows down. We package up what we have left. Boom, here you go, and we're out. And
Oh, that's so. I'm glad you said that. Someone asked me about doing an event. Well, they're doing an event here in June, and he's like, "Hey, you think you can come make pizzas?" And I've never like made pizzas on site at an event. I like that idea because I was thinking, we'll just make. He's got 100 people. We'll just make 100 pizzas, and everyone get what they want. That
people aren't
sounds
going to eat
crazy
that.
now.
Yeah, because also, like, and sometimes, so like if we have we did the wedding that went to in Beaufort, right? It's 2 hours from here, and it was 115 people, but we probably only made 55 pizzas.
Mm.
So, but the cost is the same. This is what we charge you. We charge per person, and then after you're done eating, we'll make a couple more and box them up and quietly make our escape. Because my catering, the way that we approach catering is like there's a scene in Ocean's 11 where like he's talking to Bernie Mac, right? Matt Damon's talking to Bernie Mac in that like back office,
Right.
and they're like prepping Matt Damon for that, and they're like, he needs to like you and forget you, and that's the way that we approach catering. I want you to like us and forget us. I don't want you to. I don't want to be a part of your day. I don't want to be an after. Like, I want to be like the easiest part of your thing that you never have to think about.
That you didn't have to worry about, and well, that's how you get called back.
Like, yeah, and
pizza was great. What happened to the pizza guys?
They're gone. But there's all this, like, we can now have a party, get housed and eat as much as we want because there's plenty left. Like,
I like that. That's a great one.
So if my wife's idea is to like sell the truck, stop catering for a little bit, and then if it works out, then try to find a drivable one that we can condense. Because also when we started, we were commissary-less, so we did everything in the truck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I just had to deal with my friends where I would come dump gray water, and that was it. Other than that, like, we did everything else in the truck. So we don't need to do that because we have a commissary, and I don't need all this space anymore. So if we could shrink it down into a drivable truck that like my wife could do, because I also don't like dealing with brides. You know what I mean? I'm a dude. Like, I don't care about any of that. Like, I'm happy to come make you pizza, but
I just want to come make the pizza and just
that's it.
Get on out of here.
Truck. Yeah, and just get on out of here. So I don't know.
Nice.
It's been it's way better than going to a staff meeting. You know what I mean? Like, we don't do that. We don't do meetings. We don't do that.
No, man, so, you guys are doing it. You're doing it right over there. All right. So, what advice would you give someone who's watched this and they go, "Oh, I want to do this. I want to try. I want to start a pizza company. I want to start a food truck or trailer, or I want to get into a brick and mortar." What advice would you give to the next guy?
Just make mistakes.
Go make the
Like,
mistakes.
just go make them, like, do it small, make it scalable so that you can start small and like make to where your mistakes don't impact you as much. You know what I mean? And that is the thing. Like, be able to make as many mistakes as you can and have the intelligence to like learn from them and kind of almost journal them, so that you don't make them again. But like, just make mistakes. People are afraid of failure, and I think that is dumb. You know what I mean? Like, fail. There's that corny thing about failing forward, but
Yeah,
like, do that. Like, just fake it till you make it, bro.
And the one thing I can promise anyone about this business is something's gonna happen. Shit's gonna happen almost every single day. So you gotta put yourself in the right mindset to move past it and look and say, look, this was part of it. This is what I signed up for.
Well, I think about having like a boutique, and I'm like, if we could open a boutique, like all they have to do is order it and show up and stock it, and then pay somebody like $10 an hour to be here. But like, I'm here at 7:30 every morning, making dough balls, like we have so much prep that we do. They're like, what? Why are we doing this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, my partner and I, we look at each other like, why didn't we buy real estate?
That's right, dude. I'm a licensed airplane mechanic.
Like why didn't we just buy an apartment building or something? Like, why did we do this to ourselves? But at the same time, we love it because
it's the people.
It's the people. Our team is great. Most of our folks have been with us for 7, 8, 9, 10 years now. I've seen their kids grow up. My kids have grown up. You know, it's like, I don't know. I can't imagine doing anything else now. But when sometimes I look at it and I look at some other folks, like, goodness, I could have probably been rich.
It's tough to do here.
But it's fun though. I'm having more fun. And I think they're all jealous of what we're doing too.
I mean, I agree. I totally agree. Because I don't know. I really enjoy it. And it's the working with your hands. I'm on my feet. You know what I mean? Like, how often you go through shoes? Like 2 pairs a year? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you're just hustling.
I just enjoy it. And I always tell everyone I've worked myself now to the point where it's really good. And I have some balance. And I get a lot of questions about the balance. How are you running a shop and you get to do a podcast and you're making all this content? And I'm like, we have a great, and it's not my team. We have an awesome team, and I'm not the boss, and I don't have a boss, and I'm the backup pizza guy, and the backup driver, and the backup cashier,
the gap filler.
I'm the gap filler, and I get to do that, for a few hours, a day or a few days a week, and it's great. I love it.
I do too, and I was really surprised when we scaled up to this place that like the first 5 weeks, it was probably like 80 hours a week. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then after that, like the staff got their feet underneath them. And then I was able to like, okay, we'll do one night when I'm not there. Okay, we'll do 2 nights. And now, like, I mean, we're only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Wednesday through Saturday. And I'm only here because of the food truck. I'm only here at 1 night a week. I try to be here more because it also makes a difference to people. Like, restaurants fail a lot because the owners are not around. Mm-hmm. I think people think that they can just I'm going to open this business and I'm going to go sit on the beach or something. And that's not it. Like,
no.
Just because I'm not here doesn't mean I'm not hustling. You know what I mean?
No, you gotta be around and you gotta be available. And there's always things to do. Not being there does not mean I'm not doing things.
I'm making people like us.
Yeah.
That's also your job. So
that makes it fun.
Yeah.
This has been fun. You're great.
Thanks,
we gotta do this again. I'm gonna end the recording, but hang out. Let's talk a little bit more.
You got it, brother.
So again, Nick, we didn't get to meet Brittany, but Brittany and Nick from Bricks Woodfired Pizza in, what was it, Greensboro?
Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Goldsboro, North Carolina. I'm sorry about that. Go check them out on Instagram, Bricks Woodfired Pizza. Facebook, they got a nice following on Facebook there. If you're ever traveling in that area, that Raleigh area, go check him out, order some pizza from him. He's got his heart into it, so I know you're going to get a great pie. Thanks for joining us.